All right, so this is really cool. I'm at Niner Bikes in Fort Collins, Colorado, and we're going to get a tour of Niner, one of my favorite bike companies. So let's go in and check it out. So Brad, I got the camera rolling real quick. I'm just kind of showing the showroom. So this is Brad, and this is their, I guess you call it your retail area. So they even do maintenance here, which I thought was cool. I didn't know they had the retail space. So very awesome.
It's a pretty new space for us. We've been in this location for almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years just after the first of the year. The retail space has been kind of ever evolving, and it's as robust and thorough right now as it's been. But yeah, it's kind of been an ever evolving project. So
let's go look around.
Back here we find all of our employee bike storage, employee bike shop. So we've got a full service shop back here for employees as well. Doing maintenance on our own bikes, building our own bikes, whatever the case may be. We've got that space here. It's kind of it's not as forward facing as the retail space.
So that's the employee work area.
Right. And as
cool.
we kind of trickle back from here, we've got storage space for our local demo fleet. So we do have a handful of bikes here that we keep on stock and on hand for local demos. That functions to help support the retail space, and that's what we've got back in this space.
Awesome.
So we trickle back from there. We've got hallway, which dubs as bike storage for employees.
Nice.
So people just kind of park back here if they're commuting in. We're right on the bike path, so we do get a lot of employees riding into work.
Very cool.
It's literally a stone's throw from the retail or from the office here, and that bike path goes pretty much all over town. You can go either direction and access either the south or north sides of town. So.
Can you access trails from there?
Yeah, you can access trails. This trail, paved trail, will actually take you more or less directly to a trailhead. So the west, kind of on the south end of it, it takes you to Mountain Park, Spring Canyon Park, which has got some access to our local single track. Most of our single track is on the other side of the Horsetooth Reservoir. Okay. You can ride out there. It does require a little bit of road riding to get around. You can't ride there quite all the way around yet. Okay. But it's still within pedal distance. I mean, you can ride from town and be on the other side of the reservoir in 45 minutes, primarily on single track, which is nice.
And this is a Franken bike. That's awesome.
Yeah, this is actually our graphic designer's bike. It's his local kind of commuter lunch bike. So it's an RLT alloy with flat bars set up as a single speed. Nate comes from a DH and slopestyle background, so this is his quote unquote road bike.
Hence the flat pedals.
Yeah, flat pedals and 780 bars or larger. So
that's awesome.
So this was the MCR that was done as the first EMBA bike, and that EMBA project we can see more when we go upstairs. We tried it. It ends up being about every year we do a custom limited edition frame, and we do all the money that's raised from that goes back to EMBA as a donation from Niner. And this was the very first one. Chris still rides it, uses it kind of as his towny commuter, just office bike, getting out on the bike paths, etc.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Little piece of history. This is our photo video studio. So Ian works full time for us as doing photography and videography work, and this is his space. So he's got his office space set up back here in the corner for doing photo and video editing. Camera set up. It's set up right now to do star-build images, so all of our images on white. At the other end of the room here, we've got our photo jig set up, so frames get shot in this jig system, and it can be configured for drop bar bikes, mountain bikes, both hardtail and full suspension, and it shoots the bikes in a compartmentalized way, where you can shoot just the frames, just the drivetrain, just wheels, and then be able to comp everything together in post in Photoshop. It gives us a lot of versatility when we start transitioning colors of frames, and parts don't change. We can essentially just shoot the new color of frame here and then be able to substitute that frame color in for all of the complete bikes. So if say we have a model that we add a new color to, and there's 10 different options. Instead of shooting and building 10 different complete bikes, we shoot the frame once and then substitute those in Photoshop in the post-production process.
All right, so this is Connor. So Connor, what goes on back here?
So this is our in-house test lab. So we've got over here we do some basic stiffness testing. We'll do all of our frames and a handful of competitors' frames. This here is the Rlt Full Suspension. It was featured probably, I don't know, 6 months ago or so, something like that, in a yeah, it was right before Sea Otter, right around there, in a Bike Rumor article.
Okay.
Find some more information online about that. Basic manufacturing capabilities over there, just a mill and a lathe, nothing CNC yet. Behind we have a hardness tester if we have any warranty issues. One of the first things that we'll do on a steel or aluminum frame is make sure that the material is actually what the factory says it is. And then some tools and stuff, basic prototype building capabilities. Then over here we have a couple test rigs. This guy right here is kind of like a falling mass load. Right now it's set up to do basically imitate like coming down off of a drop. This fork's obviously been tested hundreds of times, but basically just lift the frame up and drop it. Again, that's been tested dozens of times, hundreds of times, I don't know. But it's also great to see it fail right here where it did, because this is a very obvious place that a consumer can see. Whereas if it was breaking here within the head tube, it's not something that a consumer would immediately notice if they were washing their bike.
Yeah.
So it's great to see it right here on the front.
So it failed right where you wanted it to.
Exactly, yeah. That's exactly where we wanted to see that fail.
It failed in a safe place for rider, for rider safety. If it's gonna have a weak spot, being able to see it and identify it and address it before there's something catastrophic's, ideal. Whereas, you get into a steer tube and people don't often pull their fork out to inspect a steer tube.
Yeah.
So, having it be in a place that's visible is definitely, desired.
Yeah. We can set this up for wheel testing as well. We've done a lot of our own testing and tested other brands.
So are you able to test like the stiffness of a wheel, or is it mainly just how it fails?
How it fails under impact.
Yeah.
So we'll drop, I think, about 40 kilograms onto a wheel, basically to simulate hitting a rock at full speed on the trail.
Right.
We've got accelerometers, and we have a linear potentiometer, which basically measures the position of the mass as it impacts the wheel. And from that, we can calculate how much energy the wheel absorbed before failure. That kind of goes back to an old ISO test that used to be done on frames, but we kind of adapted it to wheels. And then behind you, we have what we're calling the static head tube load, which is just another it's another ISO, EN test, whatever stuff that we have to pass to basically be able to sell our bikes around the world. So this is something that we do over in Asia and in our factories and in third-party labs, but it's something that we want to be able to do here in the office as well, to kind of get a hands-on look and see with our own eyes how it failed, and with our own test equipment as well. So currently it's set up, for this static head tube load. Basically, this frame's already broken. I already ran this test, but basically it crushes like that. This one broke, I think it was right around 1,100 pounds. So, and once again, kind of going back to the fork over there, this broke in an area that's very visible to consumers, and it's also not a catastrophic failure. So the head tube didn't completely separate from the bike.
Yeah.
So we have other setups for this that we are working on to basically simulate pedal load, where we'll flip the frame up more like this, and we have like a fake steel pedal assembly that we'll put in the bottom bracket, and we can load with however much force it takes to break it. And then same kind of idea, but on the C tube as well. So kind of simulate coming down hard on your butt after a big drop. Make sure the frame's not failing.
Yeah.
And then
Cool.
That's just a hydraulic pump. We are nowhere near the capabilities of that, but
Cool.
So basically, this is Niner Warehouse. As you can see around here, this is where we have the breakdown of different components, wheels, suspension forks, and frames. As tickets come in, we digitally pick them. Everything in our warehouse is skewed and assigned to a bin location. Therefore, that increases our accuracy and helps with our inventory. But as you can see over here, basically we have some bikes that are staged ready to go out. Inside this bike box is all the different components. When it gets to the shop, therefore it goes through a full assembly. Over here is our shipping station. This is where things are staged as far as shipping frames, small parts, or complete bikes. Everything is done in a NetSuite system. The customers get an email saying that their order has shipped with tracking information, so it's real time. And then things go over to the dock doors and gets picked up by FedEx or USPS or UPS at the end of the day.
Our smallest items are at the far end of the warehouse here. You know, it's things as simple as top caps for like our Yalwood top caps or soft goods. And then as you move forward, you get into fully kitted build kits. In here you've got tires, suspension forks, wheels, and you progressively get into just kind of larger scale and space inventory.
Yeah.
On this side of the warehouse, you get into where we have all mostly frames. There's a handful of wheels over here, but this is primarily just all frames. And we have some pre-built bikes, so these are popular options that we sell quite a bit of. We'll pre-configure them, they'll pre-box them in slower periods of the month, so that when it gets busy, we can just grab them off the shelf, and it saves those guys time. And there are a handful of bikes right here behind you, actually. These are the only bikes that we buy that are fully assembled or nearly fully assembled, and it's our Jet 9, our alloy bike. And that's a 90-95% assembled option, and currently that's the only thing we buy that's generally considered completely assembled. Everything else is a ground up build. Yeah, so the space that we're walking through here, it's our one and only warehouse. So any product that someone picks up, handles, that says Niner on it, comes in and out of the office here in Fort Collins. Previously, we'd worked with a few international third-party warehouses, but over the past few years, we've transitioned everything in-house here, and everything Niner comes in and out of this building. And so up here, we've got all the office spaces. This is kind of a commons area, waiting room area, kitchen, whatever area, but it's kind of the main entrance to the office. We did all the build out of the space ourselves, so everything from the wall finishings, the bar top table here. This was actually an old bowling alley floor that we found had finished. Had all the tables made specifically for the space. It's old railroad flooring, so it's out of old rail cars, split in half and then made into the tables. But yeah, this is kind of, we spend a lot of time here, so it's nice to have a comfortable space. We work really closely with New Belgium, guys at Odell's as well, keep us fully stocked.
I love the tap.
Yeah, this is the original tap too. So the old office, we just had an old refrigerator kegerator, and we had that tap as the first one, and then acquired our Niner Kool-Aid tap shortly thereafter. And it just kind of grows from there. So yeah, here we've got our IMBA wall. When we were downstairs, we looked at Chris's bike a little bit, but this is kind of the museum wall. So these are all of the IMBA bikes that we've done over the years, starting up here with the MCR, the first one. That was the very first bike, and as you kind of work, across the top row, and then drop down to the second, they go sequentially here. So, starting with the steel bike, and then our first carbon bike we ever did was the 09 Carbon, and that was shown off here with an IMBA frame. And just kind of gone through the progression from there.
All right, here with the man himself, the founder of Niner Bikes, Chris Sugai. Hey, good to meet you, man. I've seen you, in the magazines and everything, but it's cool to meet you face to face.
Clint, glad to meet you as well in person. So thank you for letting us talk to your audience. We appreciate spreading the Niner word.
Yeah, thanks, man. Well, I hope you enjoyed your tour of Niner Bikes. I sure did. got to see a lot of stuff. Some stuff I couldn't put on camera because it's a little top secret, which is understandable. But I tell you what, I have an even greater appreciation for Niner as a company after that tour. Not only is everybody that I met a rider, but just really super nice people, really cool people to visit with. And that's one thing I've always appreciated about Niner is how accessible they are. You can tell they're riders first. And anytime I've had a mechanical question or whatever, I've always been able to call Niner and talk to them, which I really appreciate. You can't say that about a lot of bike companies out there. Sometimes you can't even find a phone number on a website. But it was really cool to see the mothership, so to speak, of Niner. And again, hope you enjoyed it.